All right, so today we're going to be diving into something that I think can really uh, transform your business if
Oh,
you're not already doing it. Uh, and it's this idea of building a customer-driven marketing strategy.
all right.
So we're unpacking an article today from Procure for Marketing, it's called.
Okay.
Crafting a Customer-Driven Marketing Strategy, Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't worry if you haven't read Part 1.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to be extracting all the key takeaways from this part so you can really see how to put these ideas into action.
Excellent.
And we've got some fascinating stuff to cover today.
Right.
We're going to be talking about why a shoe company asking about your favorite styles for different seasons
Okay.
is like a gold mine of information.
Interesting.
How Apple's store design perfectly reflects their brand.
Yeah.
And we'll even touch on how emotions play a surprisingly big role when you're selling something like a car.
Wow.
It goes way beyond just, listing out the specs.
Yeah. That's fascinating how this approach really flips the script. Instead of starting with what you want to sell, you're starting by understanding what your customer actually wants.
Okay, so the article starts by talking about understanding your customer,
Right.
and they compare it to building a house.
Okay.
You need a solid foundation, right?
Exactly. And that foundation is a deep understanding of your customer.
Yeah.
And think of it as going beyond just knowing their age or their location. We're talking about diving into their motivations, their pain points, their
Yeah.
aspirations, what makes them tick.
Totally. And the article mentions two key ways to do this:
Okay.
market research and analyzing customer data.
Right.
Now, I know those terms might sound a bit technical,
Yeah.
but bear with me, it gets interesting.
Okay.
They give this example of a shoe company using surveys
Uh-huh.
to understand not just what types of shoes people buy, but why they buy them.
Interesting.
So think about it like asking about preferred styles for different seasons.
Yeah.
Or like the occasions they need shoes for. That kind of information can help you anticipate trends
Right.
and personalize your marketing in a way that truly resonates.
And what a lot of people overlook is the wealth of information that's already hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
Your existing customer data.
Oh, interesting.
So website analytics, for instance, can be incredibly revealing.
Okay.
Let's say you look at your website's bounce rate.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you how many people land on a page and then leave without interacting.
Oh, right.
That's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
That the page might not be engaging or relevant.
Totally.
And by tweaking things based on this data, you can dramatically improve your customer experience.
So we're talking about being like data detectives here.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
And the article even mentions how AI and machine learning can take this to a whole new level.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine being able to predict future buying patterns
Right.
based on historical data.
Exactly. We're talking about uncovering patterns and insights that would be impossible for a human to spot on their own. Think about how streaming services use your viewing history
Yeah,
to recommend shows that you'll love.
totally.
That's powered by AI and machine learning.
Right.
Now imagine applying that same power to understand your customers' needs and desires.
So we've laid our foundation.
Yeah.
We understand our customer.
Okay.
Next, the article moves on to creating customer value.
Right.
Now, you might be thinking, well, that's just having a good product or service, right?
Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that.
It does. It's about exceeding expectations
Right.
and delivering an experience that makes the customer feel valued and appreciated.
They use a great example of a restaurant.
Okay.
It's not enough to just have decent food.
Right.
You need high-quality ingredients, consistent preparation, a great ambiance.
Yeah.
It all adds up to that holistic customer experience.
I agree.
Imagine going to a restaurant where the food is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but the service is terrible, the place is dirty, and the music is blaring.
Oh, yeah.
Would you go back?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? It's all about the feeling the customer walks away with.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect, personalization.
Okay.
Think about the power of a boutique remembering your favorite styles.
Right?
Or a website recommending products based on your past purchases.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you feel seen and understood.
Yeah.
But what's really fascinating is the psychology behind it.
Oh, okay.
Personalization taps into our innate desire for recognition and validation.
Interesting.
It makes us feel like we matter.
And how does that tie into things like brand consistency?
Right.
They mention Apple's minimalist store design as an example.
Apple is a masterclass in branding.
Yeah.
Their minimalist store design reflects their brand essence of simplicity and innovation.
Right.
And every touch point from product packaging to website design reinforces that same message. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about creating a cohesive brand experience that resonates with their target audience.
I see.
Yeah,
It's like everything is speaking the same language.
exactly.
Okay, so we've built this amazing house, right? It's got this solid foundation.
Right.
It's beautifully designed. But now we need to make sure that people can actually find it.
Yeah.
And that's where communicating value comes in.
Okay.
It's like shining a spotlight on all the incredible things that we've created for our customers.
It's about crafting a compelling message that cuts through the noise and speaks directly to your audience's needs and aspirations.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting because we're tapping into the power of persuasion and influence.
The article gives a great example of a skincare brand
Yeah.
that highlights natural ingredients to appeal to customers who value organic and sustainable products.
Right. It's like speaking their language.
Yeah.
Showing them you understand their values.
Totally. And like, think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you're trying to sell a car,
Okay.
you're not just selling horsepower and fuel efficiency.
Right.
You're selling the feeling of freedom and adventure.
Yeah, the image of like cruising down the open road
Right, exactly.
with the windows down.
Yeah.
But that might not resonate with everyone.
Right.
Someone looking for a family car might prioritize safety and practicality.
Okay.
And that's where segmentation comes into play.
Segmentation. So that sounds like we're dividing our customers into groups.
Absolutely.
Okay, why is that so important?
It's about recognizing that your customer base isn't a monolithic entity.
Right.
Different groups of customers have different needs, preferences, and motivations. So by segmenting your audience, you can tailor your marketing messages and strategies to resonate with each specific group.
So instead of like shouting into a void,
Yeah.
we're having targeted conversations.
Precisely.
Okay, I like that.
Imagine you're running an online clothing store.
Yeah.
You wouldn't use the same marketing approach for someone who regularly buys high-end designer pieces as you would for someone who primarily shops for budget-friendly basics.
Right, that makes total sense.
Right.
So how do we actually put this segmentation into action?
Well,
Do we need like some fancy software or something?
technology can definitely be a huge help here.
Okay.
Think of CRM systems,
Mhm.
customer relationship management tools. These systems allow you to collect and analyze data about your customers, like their purchase history, their browsing behavior,
Okay.
and even their interactions on social media.
Wow.
And this data can be used to create detailed customer profiles and segments.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
Like understanding the customer, creating value, segmenting your audience. It's like building this well-oiled machine. And technology is helping us like fine-tune every part.
Exactly.
But how do we make sure we're not just bombarding people with messages?
Right.
How do we make these interactions feel genuine and valuable?
That's where the art of communication comes in. It's not just about blasting out messages. It's about crafting communications that feel personal and relevant.
Okay.
And that's where personalization gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine you're browsing for a new laptop online, and you see an ad that specifically mentions the features you were just looking at.
Right.
It feels like magic, right?
It does.
But that's the power of data-driven personalization.
But isn't there a risk of feeling a bit
Yeah.
well-stocked?
Right.
Like how much personalization is too much?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
The key is to personalize responsibly.
Okay.
We need to be mindful of data privacy and avoid anything that could feel intrusive or creepy.
Right.
Think of it this way. Would you appreciate a salesperson following you around a store,
Yeah.
constantly commenting on everything you look at?
No.
Probably not.
No.
The same principle applies online.
So it's about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah,
using data to enhance the experience
right.
without feeling invasive.
Exactly.
What about different communication channels?
Okay.
The article mentions choosing the right channels to reach your audience.
Right. Think of it like this. You wouldn't use a megaphone to talk to someone sitting right next to you. You would simply have a conversation.
Right.
The same goes for marketing. You need to choose the communication channels that are most appropriate for your target audience.
Okay.
So social media might be perfect for reaching a younger demographic, while email marketing might be more effective for an older audience.
Makes sense.
And let's not forget about the power of good old-fashioned word-of-mouth marketing.
Right. Word of mouth is huge.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got our message.
Yeah.
We've segmented our audience.
right.
We're using the right channels.
Okay.
What's next?
Phew.
How do we keep this whole customer-driven engine running smoothly?
That's where the article emphasizes the importance of feedback loops.
Okay.
It's about constantly listening to your customers, gathering feedback,
Yeah.
and using that information to refine and improve your approach.
Okay.
Imagine you own a bakery,
Okay.
and you notice that customers are consistently asking for gluten-free options.
Mm-hmm.
You could simply ignore those requests.
Yeah.
Or you could see it as an opportunity to expand your offerings and cater to a new segment of customers.
It's about turning feedback into fuel for innovation.
Exactly.
And what about using technology to manage all of this?
Right.
It seems like there are a lot of moving parts.
Technology is a game changer here.
Yeah.
We've already talked about CRM systems for managing customer data,
Right.
but there are also a ton of tools for analyzing website traffic, tracking social media engagement,
Yeah.
and even automating marketing campaigns.
So it's like having this army of digital assistants working behind the scenes to help you understand and connect with your customers.
Precisely.
I'm starting to see how a customer-driven approach isn't just a tactic.
Yeah,
It's a whole new way of thinking about your business.
it is.
It's about shifting your focus from selling to serving,
Right.
from transactions to relationships.
You're absolutely right. It's about putting the customer at the heart of everything you do and recognizing that their success is your success.
So we've talked about communicating value, segmenting our audience, leveraging technology, creating feedback loops.
Okay.
But there's something we haven't talked about yet, something that goes beyond data and analytics,
All right.
the power of emotion.
You hit the nail on the head. We've explored the mechanics of a customer-driven approach,
Right.
but now it's time to delve into the heart of it.
So we've talked a lot about the strategic side of customer-driven marketing,
Right.
but I think it's time we acknowledge the elephant in the room,
Okay.
emotions.
Yeah,
They play a huge role in our decisions,
absolutely.
even when we think we're being totally logical.
Think about it when you buy a car.
Right.
Are you really just looking at the miles per gallon?
No way.
Or the horsepower?
It's more about how that car makes me feel.
Exactly.
Am I picturing myself cruising down the highway with the windows down, wind in my hair?
Right.
You know, am I imagining how impressed my friends will be?
Yeah.
Those emotions are powerful drivers.
Exactly. And the same principle applies to marketing.
Okay.
If you can connect with your audience on an emotional level, you create a much deeper bond
Right.
that goes beyond a simple transaction.
Yeah.
You're tapping into their hopes, their dreams, their fears, their aspirations.
The Procure for Marketing article touched on this when they talked about the importance of crafting a compelling message.
Right.
They gave that example of a car company selling freedom and adventure, not just a vehicle.
That's a perfect example. They're not just selling a product.
Right.
They're selling a feeling, an experience, a lifestyle.
Okay, so how do we translate those abstract concepts
Yeah.
into actual marketing strategies?
Right.
How do we make that emotional connection?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Because the article also mentions the power of storytelling.
Oh, storytelling.
Yeah, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are hardwired to connect with stories. They allow us to step into someone else's shoes, experience emotions vicariously, and see ourselves reflected in the narrative.
Think of a brand like Tom MS Shoes.
Okay.
Their story is about more than just selling footwear. It's about making a difference in the world.
Right.
When you buy a pair of Thomas, you're not just getting shoes.
Right.
You're becoming part of a movement.
Yeah.
You're contributing to a greater good.
And that emotional connection makes the purchase so much more meaningful.
Exactly.
It's not just a transaction, it's an expression of your values.
Right.
But how do we ensure that our stories come across as genuine and not manipulative?
That's where authenticity comes in.
Okay.
Consumers can spot a fake a mile away.
Right.
It's about being true to your brand's values.
Yeah.
Being transparent about your processes and
Yeah.
showing the human side of your business.
So it's not just about crafting a heartwarming story.
Right.
It's about actually living that story,
Yeah.
embodying those values in everything you do.
Absolutely. People are drawn to brands that feel real, relatable, and human.
Right.
But authenticity is only one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
We also need to cultivate empathy.
Empathy.
It's about truly putting yourself in your customer's shoes, understanding their perspective, and anticipating their needs.
So this goes way beyond just looking at demographics and purchase history.
It does.
It's about understanding the why behind their actions,
Exactly.
the emotional drivers that shape their decisions.
Imagine a company that sells products for new parents.
Okay.
They could simply list the features and benefits of their products,
Right.
but that wouldn't be very impactful, would it?
Probably not.
Instead, they could share stories of real parents navigating the joys and challenges of parenthood.
Okay.
They could offer support, advice, and encouragement,
Right.
creating a community around their brand.
That would create such a powerful connection.
Exactly.
It's about becoming more than just a vendor.
Yeah.
You become a trusted partner, a source of support, a friend.
Exactly. And when you build those kinds of relationships, you create loyalty that goes far beyond a simple transaction.
Okay.
You create advocates who will sing your praises and recommend your products to their friends.
So we've got storytelling, authenticity, empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other tools or strategies
Ah.
we can use to tap into the power of emotion?
Well, humor is a powerful one.
Humor.
When used appropriately, humor can be a great way to connect with your audience, make your brand more memorable, and even diffuse difficult situations.
Right.
Think about those brands that use humor in their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They often stand out from the crowd and leave a lasting impression.
But there's a fine line.
Absolutely.
Humor can backfire if it's not done well.
It's crucial to be mindful of your audience.
Right.
And avoid anything that could be offensive, insensitive, or culturally inappropriate.
Yeah.
Humor should be used to enhance your message, not detract from it.
What about nostalgia?
Oh, nostalgia.
I've noticed a lot of brands using nostalgic imagery and music in their marketing.
Right.
Why is that so effective?
Nostalgia is incredibly powerful because it taps into those warm, fuzzy feelings associated with the past.
Okay.
Think about those commercials that feature classic songs from your childhood.
Yeah.
They instantly transport you back to a time of happiness and carefree abandon.
And those positive emotions get associated with the brand,
Exactly.
even if the product itself has nothing to do with the past.
It's a clever way to tap into our sentimental side and create a positive emotional connection with the brand.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into customer-driven marketing,
Right.
it's clear that emotion plays a vital role in creating lasting connections with your audience.
It's about moving beyond the transactional and into the realm of the transformative.
Okay.
It's about understanding that people often buy based on emotion and then justify their decisions with logic later on.
And by tapping into those powerful emotions, you can create a brand that resonates deeply with your target audience, fostering loyalty and advocacy that transcends a simple business transaction.
The key takeaway here is that customer-driven marketing isn't just about data and analytics.
Right.
It's about understanding the human heart.
So the next time you're crafting a marketing message, ask yourself, how can I make this feel more human?
Yeah,
How can I connect with my audience on an emotional level?
exactly.
Because ultimately, it's those emotional connections that build lasting relationships and drive true business success.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Wow.
We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of customer-driven marketing.
Yeah.
And that you feel inspired to put these principles into action in your own life or business.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep putting your customer first.